Chapter 33, Joking. All funny business aside, Mom let us use the car. I got strict rules on driving 10 kilometers an hour under the speed limit the entire time and a scowl every time the topic of my license popped up from there until I left for university. We drove as slowly as Mom would have wanted, more or less, and Sarah was tense and quiet. So was I, to be honest, but I wanted to make sure she was okay, and that Sean was okay, and that everything was just okay. We got to the hospital and checked in. Sean's mom was in the waiting room, and Sean's bed was slowly rising as we walked in the door to the hospital room. "Oh, good, you're here. He just woke up again. Sean," Mom said. Her voice was happy and relieved. "Sean, sweetie, Chris and Sarah are here to see you." Sean was bandaged up thoroughly. He had several bandages covering his face, but his jaw and mouth were free, if not scraped and a bit swollen. His arm was in a cast, and both legs had long steel apparatuses on them. "You guys suck," came a surprisingly clear voice from the bandages. "Walk a bit ahead to give you two lovebirds some privacy, and then bam, get hit by a car. That's the last time I babysit you lovers on lunch break, I swear." We all laughed except Sean, but a smile did cross his face. He was in surprisingly good spirit for his current condition. "Hey now, Sean, your friends came here because they care about you," Sean's mom said sweetly. "He doesn't mean that." "Yes, I do," he complained. "Sean," his mom scolded. "Okay, fine. By the way, apparently I'm not blind. But you can see but I can't see because of the bandages currently on my everything." He motioned with his hands, trying to blindly point at the bandages covering his face and body. More laughs around the room. "What's the final damage?" I ventured to ask. "2 broken wrists, 1 broken arm, broken nose, fractured cheekbone, lacerated face, scalp, 2 shattered patellas, 1 broken fibula, a broken rib, and a couple dozen cuts from here." He moved his right hand up to his bandaged face. "To here," he said, moving down to his waist again. "Ouch," Sarah said. "Also, this finger doesn't seem to work anymore," he said, flipping the empty corner of the room the bird. "Sean," his mother scolded him again. "What, my mom's still here? Can you not do anything right? Geez, guys," Sean joked. We all laughed, and Sean's mom got up to leave. "Would you two mind staying with him for a while?" she asked. "We haven't been home yet, and we need to get a few things for the night's stay." "Mom, I'm fine," Sean said, waving his broken arm. Waving his non-broken arm. "The country's finest medical professionals are looking after me and making sure that the county's finest medical professionals are looking after me and making sure these two don't let me get hit by another car." Sean's mom smiled. "Do you mind?" "No, go ahead. We'll be nice to him, I promise," I said. "Don't leave me with them, Mommy," Sean groaned. She rolled her eyes and kissed his head before leaving, and Sean waited a bit, then asked, "Is she actually gone this time?" "Yeah," Sarah said, walking over to the bed. "We promise." "Good. She dotes too much." "I'm fine, guys, really," Sean said. "Really, 'cause you look fine," Sarah said, poking Sean slightly on the side. "Ow," he groaned. "Meanie." We all laughed and settled in. Sean would mumble and slip in and out of sleep and jokes. He was taking the whole not being able to see or possibly walk thing pretty good. The driver from the other car was knocked unconscious and released earlier in the night. What we had seen, a sheet over his head, was actually just a blanket to keep him warm after the crash. And though a thought never crossed my mind about the other driver, honestly, I was just glad he was all right, and that Sean, for worse or wear, was all right too. Sarah and I sat and took turns either watching him or the room's muted TV. Some sort of TV drama was on it, and it was nice just to rest. But there were still a lot of unknowns about what was next. But our friend was alive and joking, and he was as good as it was going to get. After a while, Sarah leaned on my shoulder and closed her eyes and held onto my arm. She held onto my arm and used me like a pillow for the most part. Sean began to breathe heavily and then snore, and the room was quiet as the hospital could be. Miss Wickham came back later with an overnight bag and coffees for each of us. We left him sleeping and headed home, driving 10 kilometers an hour under the speed limit the whole way. I stopped, dropping Sarah off at home, and walked her to the door. Her dad was waiting there. "Apparently I have crows and/or boyfriends to shoot," he said with a smile at the door. You two know what that's about?" "Hi, Dad," Sarah said, kissing him on the cheek and going inside. "Thanks for bringing her home safe, Chris," he said. "Not a problem, sir," I said. And I drove home to a slightly happier mom. "Crows and boyfriends," I said, as sarcastically as I could manage as I entered the door. "Provincial driver's license," she replied in kind, sipping a glass of red wine from the couch in the living room. More jokes than sleep, a good finish to the day, as there ever could be. Chapter 33. Hope you guys like it. Glad Sean's okay, and we'll talk to you guys soon.